Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, Facebook land, we're about to get started here, so please listen up. It's a little far for you today. So hopefully you're on loud when it comes to your volume because everybody's at the table and we are at the main screen. But have fun and I hope to see you all soon out of Facebook land. Hi, amazing group of humans. Erin, do you want this chair? You're like the only one without the comfy chair.
I'm good.
Okay. As you noticed up front, we have a little bit of a shift, right? Tina's last day was officially on Tuesday. I mean, on Friday. I'm focused on Tuesday, if you can't tell. And so, Jamie's up front today, and today is officially Louise's birthday, and she took the whole week off because if you notice, she never takes time off. So yay, Louise is on birthday week. We're having a party up front. And so make sure to welcome Jamie. And then Wednesday and Thursday this week, we will have Catherine from North Scottsdale covering the front desk. So if you come into new faces, don't worry. It's just a little bit of an odd week and Louise will be back in person on Monday, but we have some fantastic people. So make sure to stop by and say hi and make them feel welcome. Don't forget Friday's Veterans Day. Yay, Veterans Day. So we are closed on Friday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I'm leaving for the National Association of Realtors. So in my head, I'm just like, don't miss the plane, don't miss the plane, don't miss the plane. Because they changed my plane 3 times now. I'm like, I'm so sick of plane changes. It's like unreal. I'm like, just go
America?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's the problem. Yeah, I'm just like, as soon as we get on, so I'm just gonna go to the earliest time they've given me and just like hang out at Starbucks or something. And see what happens, right? Yeah. You guys do know how to kill a girl's joy. Okay. I will find the closest caffeine. So today I thought we'd focus on the hardest topic of the market, expectations. How you come up with facts, how you show people things. Is it really hard to keep a seller happy right now?
Yep.
No.
I kept them happy.
Do you keep them happy? How do you keep them happy, Zana?
So be transparent. Don't blow the bubble and have them like, oh, the market is wonderful. I'm gonna sell you. As soon as you have it signed and you have an agency, then oh, I need to tell you that we are heading towards the holidays and we'll see. All right. Chill. So that wise, we should not do it. Be at the same page with the seller.
Always be on the same page and give them facts, right? Is that really gonna help you moving forward in competition with other realtors is when you're real?
No.
Okay, Erin, can you elaborate on that?
Well, the other realtors are gonna close, no, just certain areas clear. And you know, if you're doing your job and you're a good realtor, you're not, you're gonna tell the truth.
Okay, so overcoming those conversations actually have more obstacles than we make it appear at a meeting. Hey, Mom, so would you kindly ask Jamie if she would turn down the music for us? Because I'm just gonna start singing Beatles in a moment. I think you'll all join in and we'll be like, yeah. Yeah, so you're telling me it's hard to have these conversations because your competition went in and said, no, I can sell you within 30 days. And you said, how's that gonna work out? Right? And you didn't mean to say that, but it just kind of giggled out of you because you were like, wow, are you buying into a concept? How many people buy into concepts of what they want to hear?
Too many.
Yeah, all of them. Isn't that why we all buy timeshares? You will vacation more if you give us all your money and change nothing, but now my money is gone. Right? The concepts and the ideas is the hardest part. So does anybody have a tactic other than what we're gonna like dig into of how you could start these conversations differently than just telling someone your true opinion? Yeah, definitely always have the stats with you, but how do you know, no one wants to jump right to the paper. Everybody wants to feel something. How do you make people get on the same page as you before you lead down that conversation?
Show them interest rates.
Okay, terrify them again with staff. I'm joking.
No,
Eric, wait, tell me.
Throw the lender under the bus. Thanks, Eric.
no, it's just like, what I do is just when I have conversations, everyone's so used to hearing what the market was 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Then all you have to do is show them the graph, the interest rates, how far they have gone up since they were 2 3/4 all the way up to where they are now. And also the same, the inventory, but this way it's a hard press of reality up front of what to expect in today's market. The other thing is right now is you're going into traditionally the coldest, hardest period in the market. Because it's November, everyone's already in Thanksgiving mode, December, everyone's in Christmas mode. So by putting your property on the market, you are gonna have the serious buyers, the people that actually wanna be here. It's not the people that are looking loose, because no one's out looking at houses, they seriously have to get a house, and usually they have to have a certain deadline. And I always focus on Thanksgiving and Christmas, because everybody wants a new home to celebrate one of their holidays in, and invite the families on the new holidays. So that's my pressing point of saying, hey, we gotta market accordingly, and let's focus on getting them in, your buyers in by holiday, and same with you, let's get you in your place.
so what I just heard you say, in my mind, at a presentation, because to us, that's very common sense, right? But this person across the table from me does something completely different for a living. They don't even see this side of what we do until it actually affects them, right? So what I heard you say, the first thing I imagine that you said, and everybody can really dive deep into what Eric had to say, is a visual graph that says buyer affordability. And it's a bar graph, and it shows the months and the shifts, and maybe it has a $500,000 sales price as an example, or 550, because 550 has been our median for a while. Right, and it says, okay, at 2.8%, here's where their payment was, this is how many people could afford it, right? When we bumped from in the 2s to in the 3s, this is where it went, and then when we went to the 4s, this is where it went, and then when we decided to skip the 5s and go right for the 6s, this is how affordability has been affected, and all I see is a visual, and when you have a visual in front of somebody that's branded to you and very pretty and colorful, in front of that person, do you have to speak? No, and that's the key, right, Dave?
Right.
Is put it in front of them and say, what do you see? Because this affects your ability to sell your home. It's how much the average human can afford. Because the average human is what makes up most of our purchases, right? So did you see that visual too? Did you see the visual on affordability when Eric was speaking? Yeah.
I did.
How many qualified people now in the market? That is the key.
That's what you were going at.
Mhm.
And then Mike's like, we're gonna dive into stats too, which is gonna be your next step. After you build their trust, because you have to let them tell you what the market is yielding, you have to lead them to have the discussion. But if all you do is speak your mind, no one's gonna buy into trusting you. Because you're just another person who knows everything. Right? Isn't that what we're looked at? As, oh, you all have an opinion and it's all different. So I'll just choose the one who I align with their opinion. But what if I let the consumer, my potential seller, lead the conversation? All I do is provide facts in pretty visual, easy format. An easy format. A bar graph is an easy format because we see interest rates go up and we see buyer affordability go down. Right? Easy visual. And I say seller, this is about buyer affordability, interest rate versus how much the average person can afford and where that payment takes them. What do you see here? Because this is what's happening in our market. And you let them lead the conversation. Is it hard as the realtor at the table to stay quiet? Is it hard to stay quiet?
Yes.
I'm like, according to this room, the answer is no.
It should be prepared for the conversation, all of it. They cannot be quiet.
Right.
You are born to talk.
Right, so you have to hold your breath, right, Jenna, and give them a moment to absorb it. Because if you ask me a question right now on agency, you might be actually thinking something totally different, but bam, can I answer your question? But did I really understand the intent of what you were looking for? Right, the intent of your question might have been different, but I didn't take the time to understand the question. Because this is all going to link back to what is that seller's motivation and what are the seller's needs. And in these conversations and having them like lay it out, aren't you addressing their fear factors?
Yeah.
Because they need to sell their home most likely. They have goals and different aspirations to move forward, and I need the money from this house. Most humans need the money from this house to move on with their next chapter. So we're gonna hear their fears and we're gonna hear their goals by allowing them to tell the story of the market. And then can you address them properly? Because you have to remember the intent of us is to empower and educate. However, sometimes the impact when we don't let the other side give the story is a negative outcome. The impact is we never truly heard their needs and we just wanted to sound like we knew everything and we were the professional at the table, right? Our impact should have been our intention, which is to empower them and allow them to lead the conversation. So our first visual is affordability. Buyer affordability. I can perfectly graph that in my head. When I see visuals in my head as a realtor of what I would love to showcase to someone, I draw stick figures and really bad sketches. And I take them to my amazing Esther company and I say, can you help me make this real? Or I take them to a designer and I say, can you help me make this not look like stick figures? Right, because I can perfectly imagine it, but if I go to draw it, it's just not going to be the same. And so that's number one goal. Let them tell the story and lead with facts. And the fact is right now, buyer affordability. Hey, Becca, what's going on? Next one was Mike's point. After they understand and tell that story, what is the market yielding? Mike, what do we look at in the market when we're talking to that seller? Do we do a big picture, a little picture? Like, how do we really blend in the market discussion? You do the neighborhood. Like,
What's sold in the last 30, 60 days?
and why do you focus on the last 30 and 60 days?
Well, market's changed. You go much further.
Awesome.
What if there's nothing, 30 to 60 days?
So how far back do you go?
Well, yeah, I do, but I mean, like, if you're out more than a mile, starting to get a little,
Okay, so what are the 101 rules? I know I didn't give you guys handouts, so I figured you'd take notes. Because I have the same handout I always give you guys, and I'm happy to email it to everybody. But what's the rule set of an appraiser? So if I go 60 days back in the same subdivision and I don't find at least 3 closed apple to apple comparables, what is my next route?
90 days. Or, I'm sorry, did you say 60 days?
I know, because Mike started that, but you're right, 90 days is the max. But then if you think I have a 45-day timeline to probably going under contract at all.
Yep.
Those further 30 days are out now, right? Now, I'm gonna have to keep readjusting and relooking at the market. But you are right, it's the time. You go back 6 months. And then you do a mile radius within the same zip code in major arteries. And then if that still doesn't work, you can just keep expanding out, but then you have to keep looking at, and you never go further than 6 months, the amenities of the neighborhood. Because this neighborhood might have a lake, which is also formerly known as a pond in the Midwest, but here they call them lakes. And they actually add value most of the time. And then you go over here and it's just a stagnant block, right? No lake community. Well, those are different amenities. So I have to start looking at that too. If I go back 6 months right now, am I going to be realistic with price point?
No.
Is the seller stuck in 6 months ago? I want to afford all these things for the holiday season. So I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to buy something different and I'm going to use all this extra money that I'm imagining. Because they're 6 months behind. Sometimes they're even a year behind. So what report is my favorite report to get you guys to use with them in their neighborhood?
See, I forgot the name.
Forgot the name of it.
Is it Cromford? Yeah, it's like MC.
Look, voted one that you do on.
Okay, so since nobody could just zoom it out of their mouths, we're gonna do it again. because if you guys zoomed it out, I was gonna move on and go on to different things, but it's the 1004 MC report. Everybody write that down. Now I'm gonna teach you how to do it again. 1004 MC. Cecil, I love that you said the Cromford report. The Cromford report only works for Maricopa and Pinal County. Number one. Number two, it's a paid for subscription. So not everybody has the Cromford report. If you guys ever want to look at it, as the managing broker, I do pay for my own subscription, and you can always say, hey, Mandy, send me these stats. I will. It has shown that most outlying areas, Queen Creek, Buckeye, all the outlying cities are now fully a buyer's market again. We're not even in a negotiable market. We are in a buyer's market. The inner city is still a negotiable market, and the higher end is still a little less than, it's right between seller and steady, but more steady, and people are just pretty desperate to move if they're listing right now.
What do you consider higher?
Higher end, $1 million plus. It used to be 650 plus. We have shifted. So if you need paper or anything, let me know. I'll go get you paper and pens, but I need you to know how to do this, or the issue is you're not going to be able to show trends. We're going to show facts, but I need you to be able to show trends. So, anybody have a subdivision that they're working right now?
How about 4017 East Trace?
407 East.
4017.
Is that your house, Eric? I'm like, okay. I just want you to know this is Eric Carlene's address, everybody on Facebook. And if you'd like to send holiday gifts, his kids are young and they love them. So this is Shadow Ridge. It's 85028. So it's right down the road from the office here. So anybody on the way home that wants to say hi to Carrie, we just go straight down. It's on the left. And this is going to be a really good one to look at. So we're going to start with Shadow Ridge. Now, here's the thing with the 1004 MC. We want to look at the entire zip code of 85028 on single families, but we also want to look internally at a subdivision. So now I'm going to go to Flex MLS. This is not comps. This is market trends. And I'm going to say quick search. I'm going to say my dwelling type is single family. I'm going to select active through closed. Please keep in mind, I'm saying single family because a condo and a townhouse market really doesn't compare to a single family market. Like if you have a condo or a townhouse for sale right now, it's extremely hard to move, right? It's been extremely hard to move for quite a few months. Or a single family home kind of came to that standstill last week. What do you think is going to shift this week that might reopen us a little bit in 2 weeks? Yeah, elections are over. The signs are going to be down. So I don't know if it's the drivability of our town that's just going to be fabulous again, because I don't know about you, but every time I go to lunch, I feel like I might get sideswiped because I couldn't see past the sign. Or that the certainty and people finally go, okay, I know what tomorrow is going to bring in my opinion, right? So that's going to be great. I'm going to select active through close. I'm actually not going to go back more than 1 year because that only pulls back a year. And I don't want to overload the system because I have no patience. And then I'm going to go down to zip code. I always like to do this just to make my life a little bit easier. Because sometimes, can you have the same subdivision on different sides of the valley that kind of sound like the same name? Yeah, it's really confusing. I'm then going to go down to subdivision. Can you see this okay? Sweet. And I'm going to put in what he gave me. Now, here's the problem I have with Shadow Ridge. Some people are going to do it like on the tax records with 1 word. And some people are going to do it with 2 words. So I'm going to do comma. And I put it, I put 2 and I put shadow with a star key. What's a star key?
To have everything down.
Yep, a star key is a wild card. So that way I kind of get both. And if I look, what I've pulled is Eric's right here. But look, there is stuff called shadow over here. So I'm going to go zoom in and just mark out this area, okay? But that way I hit anything that said shadow. If you didn't know that community very well, do you think you would have typed Shadow Ridge as 1 word or 2 words? Yeah, exactly. That's why we do it that way. So that shows me only 5 things have moved in there all year. when you see something like that, to Dave's point of, well, what if we just don't have enough in that subdivision? When you see something like that, what should that make you think about this neighborhood? Stable. Yeah, my husband loves when we go to California, he's like, oh, this is where old money is. I'm like, we both wish we were born into that. Okay, honey? He tries to kill the aspirations I'll ever own a house there. I'm like, oh, it will happen.
All newlyweds are
Nearly
nearly dead.
weds are near, that is so depressing, but okay. Highly desirable should be your marketing term. Highly desirable, because when someone decides to sell, most likely you will be noticed more than if you were in a regular subdivision with regular lots, right? Because if you were in Buckeye right now, and I'm just gonna talk about Verado. If you're in Verado, I guarantee you, you have at least 30 active listings, and 5 of them are the cookie cutters of each other, right? What's desirable about being able to do the substitution policy if you decide you like the floor plan, right? I'm gonna look at exactly what all these houses feature, and then I'm gonna decide how much lower I'm gonna make my offer because it has so much competition. And this neighborhood, no matter what the market yields, they're Eric's terms. And it means it's highly desirable because if someone wants to move in that neighborhood, they're waiting for something to pop up. But I'm not gonna go through them. All I'm gonna do is go over to the CMA button. And I'm gonna say use all results, sorry guys. And then from there, I'm gonna select statistical CMA. Please note that there were 2 places to select this. I have to click use all results. And then I select statistical CMA and this look. I then go down to my next button, which will take me to a new screen. I always remove total stats at the top just because that's not the report I'm pulling and I don't want to confuse the person in front of me with what I'm giving them. You know, just give one thing at a time. And but I'm going to go to Fannie Mae 1004 MC. And then I'm just going to go down to view. I show you this every single month on our market. This neighborhood is basically empty. This neighborhood, I'm telling you, if you list something properly, you will sell, is what this chart shows. But because of the lack of information on this chart, because we only have 5 properties in that whole neighborhood, I would not take this to my listing presentation. This is a key to me that it's a highly desirable area. And I can speak to the fact that there's only been 5 properties that have moved in the last 365 days, no matter what market we were in, because people like the stability. This neighborhood's not one that people move in and out of. You get to know your neighbors here because they last forever, right? I remember driving to work, and there's lots of neighborhoods like this actually. And I got here, and Eric's here like before me every day because he lives right down the road. And I said to Eric, hey, there's a vacant house down the way with construction. What's going on? And I knew Eric would know because he lives on Cholla. And he's like, oh, let me tell you more. And I was like, see, this is the kind of neighborhood that is. Where a lot of us, depending on where we live, would be like, I don't know. But their neighborhood, they all know, right? So this is one, because of the lack of information, if I took this, I would say, look, we only have 1 active property in this whole area, and that's at 475. I also know these are not cookie cutters. I also knew these are semi-custom homes. So I can't just pull one to the other. So that's something really cool because now I know I could talk to you about stats that we're going to be noticed, but the affordability is what's going to affect the ability to move your property. So now let's go back to the search and do what we can do to show them what's going on in their whole zip code. So let's take all of 85028, single family homes. We're not going to cookie cutter them. We're not looking for apple to apple comps. And what we see is we have 20 properties and all of 85028. Let me just make sure I've selected everything because sometimes I think it's bizarre. I selected everything. Oh no, we're taking out the rectangle. I'm like, something is wrong. In all of 85028, we have 429 properties that have moved over the past year. This can really show us what the marketable trends are of single family detached homes.
I just want to point out that both of those homes that are listed are ROG units.
Because you guys rock. Hello. Are they yours? Almost. You're going to find the buyers.
There's Chris and I forget the name of the other guy.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question before?
Mhm. Yeah.
When you show the stat, when you hit the view, what did you see to give you that vision that, oh, this is really a slow sell and buy in this area? And you continue on the scenario. So what are the things that you saw on the table?
I saw 5 properties on that number right there. Knowing that prior to June of 2022, how fast were things moving? How much money were people getting? They were still blowing the candle out, right? I wish for 100,000 in my bank account. I have 100,000 in my bank account. Like, that was all real prior to June. It was really May that the shifts started happening, but people were still locked in. So the real shift of our market immediately happened the second week of June. You just saw everything, just everyone's mindset go, "Ah," because that's how it was given to America. It's to all of America. But now I have 429. So when I see 5 properties in an entire subdivision, that's all that's moved. I gotta go, man, people must stay a long time. Because this year alone, we still had movement. The end of last year, we still had movement. Eric brought up earlier the conversation, I think you said it, or maybe it was you, no, Jenna, you said it. You said no matter what, the fourth quarter of the year always slows down. So that's not untrue. However, in 2020 and 2021, they did not compare to any market we've ever seen, and no one slowed down October to December. We kept pumping. We were closing so many properties. It was seriously unprecedented in October through December of each year. So when I say this to a realtor, what you said, Jenna, when I say it to a realtor who's only been licensed since the end of 2019 or mid 2019, they go, oh no, I sold it fine in December. And I go, you did.
Yeah.
But if we take those 2 years out of the stats, and that's what I want to show you guys how to do today too. If you take those 2 years out and you look at year over year and you start pulling those reports, you're going to see that it historically does slow down. It doesn't fully stop, but it slows down. And in election cycle years, it slows down this much because people live in fear of what's next. And everyone has different mindsets of what's next should be, depending on what happens, right? So this is not uncommon. It just doesn't feel good right now since we're all experiencing really high milk prices and gas prices. I mean, the ability to eat is so expensive to sustain and survive compared to what it was for forever, right? So now we're feeling it in a different way. And every time it comes back around, even though it's cyclical and it happens year over year, it's just always felt a little bit different. And that's why these conversations are so important to be having. And to keep your mindset in, should you renew your license in January? Should you renew your license in January? Yay, yes. Well, pay my board dues. Let's all buy in together. Because it's always going to be better. So the quote in your newsletter every week isn't just for you. It's also for me and my affirmations and my way of speaking to myself. And the quote this time was, to live a positive life does not mean I always have to be happy and smile, right? But it means that I always know that tomorrow's going to be better. So I want you to know that in real estate, it doesn't always feel great, you know, but it's always going to be better as long as you keep putting into it. All right, so back to the 1004 MC. We have 429 properties. We select them all. We do not sit here and go, well, does this compare to this? Because again, select all. Well, if it doesn't let us select them, we just go over to the CMA and you say use all results. CMA button, use all results. Then the only one, because of the amount of properties that you can select, is the stat CMA. See that? Then we're going to go down here and just click next. Again, it will take us to that fancy screen. You can look at total statistics. We're just not doing that at this time, but we're going to go down to 1004 MC report. Also, how many of you, since we're on this screen right now, has ever heard any agent or brokerage say, we sell 20% over the average sales price? And that's the smoke, right? Well, it doesn't matter the market. Our brokerage always sells X amount over the average. And I'm like, how did you figure out the average? Did you go through MLS personally, download everything into a CSV file, add up the numbers and divide by the amount of numbers? Because I can guarantee you don't even know how to download that. I could teach you how to do that though. Don't do that. That's a waste of your life. Right? Is that what you did? Because you can't figure that out. But what I can figure out is the median. I can figure that out in any category. What is the median sales price? What's that tipping point? All right, so I want you to know that that's something you can look into too, and you can speak factually to it. And Erin, I love that you brought up the fact that other agents puff and that's how they win. Is it against the code of ethics to lead a consumer astray with puffing?
Yes.
Yes, it actually states that you have to give actual information and facts. Seller can decide whatever they want, but your job is to give actual facts. So when I'm in a presentation, I love to have a code of ethics with me and have certain aspects highlighted for them to reference later. And sometimes I like to bring it out if they go, well, so-and-so said, I go, that's wonderful. You know, I don't know what information they're pulling that from, but I would challenge you to always ask people where they're getting their facts. This is where I get my facts, and this is how I pull information. I'm happy to do it in front of you if that makes you feel as though what I'm giving you is truthful and honest. And then kind of go, and by the way, it's highlighted here that this is my responsibility and something I've taken an oath to do for you. That C personality that you get in the room sometimes, Eric and Cecil, my analytical friends who want to know, how did you reach this end, are really going to appreciate that. And your S and I personality, which is your people focus, which is always like, okay, but let's make it fun, are going to go, oh, hold up, wait a minute. I didn't think about that. I was just trusting their faith, right? How many times have you ever been told in your lifetime, well, I just trust you?
Right.
Many. And as a good person, we all go, I'm so sorry. Because are we 100% perfect? No, double check me. Tell me if I'm not in the same line with you, right? So I always challenge people, go look for the facts. Like my kids are like, well, I Googled it, mom, and this is the answer. Well, how did you get the answer? Well, TikTok had a video. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna say, unless you know the creator of TikTok video, you still don't know. So be willing to show them. But then we click view. And what I love about this is it shows me just what I was speaking about, right? And I will say that 85028 is not considered an average sales price area at all, or median sales price area. 85028, where we're located, we have a lot of older communities that have held their value and sustained their value. We actually even have a lot of horse properties directly in here. Craig and Kathy Sanford that sit in the back and bring you guys chicken eggs. Don't forget to bring back your cartons. Chicken love laying their eggs. They live right off Shea in 85028. And they have horse property that they live on. We're like, okay, regular city, boom, horses. So important things to know. But if I go back a year where my seller's mindset is, we had less than 1 month housing supply. The median sales price at that time was $695 and things were being listed at $795. Then I go back about 6 months and I have to remember what was listed, it was selling, and the median sales price dropped to $770, but our list price actually dropped. But we were just over a month housing supply. We're 1.5 months housing supply, which is still a seller's market. And now we jumped. We currently have jumped to almost 4 months housing supply, 3.76, which is that neutral ground for Arizona, that negotiable ground, right? We're not really a buyer's market, but the fact if a seller wants to move, they better be willing to negotiate. They better be willing to give something to the table. But you still have to be priced right, or you're not even going to be seen. This is the hard conversation, guys. I can justify, and so can you right now, a price point that a house will appraise at, but I can't move it. I can say you're definitely worth X. Your house price point is definitely X, but the buyers are at a standstill and they're like, unless I get that 20 grand below fair market value, I'm not even looking right now. And that's why November and December are going to be so challenging, as the mindset of the buyer has completely shifted. So I can justify still in the 7s in this area, right? Depending on exact comps, but that doesn't mean I can move it. So if you want the most out of your home right now, I need you to be patient. Anybody go and ask for an offer pad or open door offer lately for their sellers? Anybody? Okay, Erin, what did they come back with? Did they come back at price point?
We didn't even put it on paper. I was just verbally going back and forth. We came in really low.
Yeah.
More. They deserve it, but They wouldn't budge at all, and the house has been on for almost 200 days. They've dropped 100,000 in those 200 days, but they would budge.
That's a drop.
What's the price point?
That's the price point.
It's listed at 464.
Okay.
Oh,
What incentives are you presenting? What are the sellers gonna do with the money after they leave?
The marriage,
She knows where I'm going with that. What are the sellers doing with the money after they sell it?
Well, the seller doesn't more.
Oh, the sellers open
Yeah.
door. Oh,
So
okay,
that's
I got you.
okay.
Oh, you're on the buy side.
The reason I'm going here is because what that's showing me, and to see that things are no longer selling at 100% of list value, they're now at 99% statistically, is that our institutional buyers, which were the ones that finagled the market for the past 2.5 years, are offering between $60,000 and $100,000 on average less than what the house's fair market value is. Because they're back to understanding that my game is convenient as an investor. My game is I'll buy your house and I'm going to take the holding costs, but you're not going to make fair market value, where sellers for so long have been brainwashed for 2.5 years because of the market to think that, oh, I don't need to call a realtor. Why wouldn't I just go get an investor offer without you? Because they'll pay me what my house is worth. No, they won't. I have a house in Buckeye currently that's listed for sale. It's a referral. I know you guys love 195th Avenue. Don't worry, I took so much from you there. And I went and I took this listing. It is listed at 382. I can justify 397, 400 for the price point of the value of this house. Not one showing. Went to OfferPad, got an offer at 275. Plus they wanted 6% inconvenience fee. Got an offer from Open Door. Highest offer they would do, 335 with 7% inconvenience fee. But then they have houses on the market, the exact same price point as my house on the market in that subdivision, and it's still not moving. And an affordable money amount is 400,000 below, really 500,000 now and below. But because the buyer affordability is so different, we have to show those visuals. We have to get people to the table. And if you're thinking of any visual, I hope you're writing them down to say, how can I continue these conversations? The sad thing is, Aaron, our listings, right? They just sit right now. And you can offer the moon, but we're not going to see shifts until we see big new shifts on mindset. What week traditionally picks back up for the market?
That's what we should say.
Second to third week of January. How many days does your property, if you have a listing, have to be off the market and TOM or canceled status to go back to 0 days on the market? So close though. 45 days. It used to be like 6 months and then we were 90 days. We're at 45 days. So one of your concepts could be to go TOM on listing right before Thanksgiving. And I know not everyone celebrates Thanksgiving. Okay, I TOM temporarily off the market. Thank you, Jill. Temporarily off the market and go right back on the market that second week of January when they all sober up and have new goals. I know that sounds awful, but let's face it. We all watch the parties on the news. I live through the parties on the TV and pretend I'm there. And then they go, oh, I have these goals. Okay, great. Why are you paying X in rent when you can be paying that in a mortgage? And John, why don't you talk to us about the expectations of, to me and the realtors in the room, I feel like the Feds like Charlie Brown a lot, but they make no sense. And then we have fluctuation in our market with interest rates, right? But if we actually look last week, we dropped slightly for interest rates in the market. So can you speak to that and how we could talk about that with the people at the table?
Most investors are watching expectations. So if the Fed does what they're expected to do, they'll pull back a little bit and you'll actually see an improvement in the rate because they were hedging their bets that the Fed might do something crazy. However, the pullback was short-lived. I hate to say it, but the Fed did raise the rate 75 basis points. I think everybody knows, so hopefully you know. But that's a short-term rate. That's not directly related to a mortgage interest rate anyway. But because they did what they were saying, they did have a slight pullback that we just talked about.
Can you talk to the numbers a little bit? Because it seemed like we were in the high sixes at the end of last week
Yeah.
compared to the high sevens.
Well, depending on LTV and credit score and all that kind of good stuff, yeah. So I think my little video thing, he said low to mid sevens.
Okay,
So depending on where you're at, but again, the strategies out there for people buying points, seller concessions, every single contract in my pipe right now has seller. Every single one of them are using them to buy points. Everyone. So for me to tell you, hey, with no points, we're at 7.25, but since everybody is buying points, everybody's somewhere around 6.5 to 6.75.
and how is our yield spread right now, John? Because I know you love me doing this without your computer in front of you.
Yeah.
But if I was buying a house at $500,000 and I received 3% towards concessions, so I had $15,000 to work with, and I had a perfect FICO over 800. Can I just say over 800?
800 straight.
Great. And I had maybe a 90-10 loan to value. How many points does 15 grand? How much do you think I can really buy that rate down? Would I still be in the
What's
sixes?
the price point?
500.
Okay, and you're putting how much down?
I'm putting 10% down.
Okay, so that's $50,000, so we're 450 loan amount, so $4,500 this year, 1 point. So if you've got 3%, you're knocking on $15,000, so 4,500 into 15 is what, 3 or 4? Not quite 4. So 3.7 something. So 3.5 points, buy it down. So if you're at 7.25, you're probably down with 3 points, you're probably 6.375. Yeah, I need to go home, take a nap.
That was awesome. But do you see how much that doesn't move?
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot
to
of
you and
people-
me, when we think 1 point, right, 1%, we're like, she's gonna take 4%. She's gonna be amazing. We're back in the game.
Yeah.
But they do
4.9.
8.
From 7.25 to 6.375 is 7/8.
Yeah, they do 8. So we got to remember too, not to misspeak and go back to the lender. How much can this 15,000 and what is that spread on the difference in that mortgage payment for a buyer? And then if you get a listing, how could you use that information to help you market the listing? You call your lender and they do a whole financial side with you, right? You pair up with a lender, you do a video on it, you get it out there to the mainstream to say, hey, don't always listen to the news, but this is what we can do for you if you qualify. So call us and let's line your numbers up.
And also, I think would help if you're talking to the other side and say, actually, let's not drop your sales price 15,000. What if we, in main scenario, let's leave your sales price right where it is, but be willing to give us a seller concession for 15,000. And they may leave that sales price right where it is, and as part of the negotiating tool, you end up still benefiting the buyer in a way better way. Because that interest rate over time saves them way more money than dropping the sales price 15 grand.
Question for John, is that okay?
Yeah, go for it, Jenna.
So I have a buyer with the same situation and they wanna purchase the rate and his lender said, okay, don't purchase the lender, it won't worth it because in February, it's gonna be a drop in the rate and you will refinance, so why you waste your money
I
now?
want that guy's crystal ball.
So I just want to have like, what do you think about this? Is that not true?
It's possible, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't spend that much money on it. So some of the guys I'm listening to say the first quarter we'll see a move in a good way. The rates will come back down first
Okay.
quarter. I've seen another group of guys saying second quarter. We'll see something in the next 6 months. And I've heard that more.
yeah, and I heard in the fall, it will be
Right.
4.9.
And so, yeah, well, gosh, how they throw a number? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't live in that world, so I can't throw that number. But
I want to beat that.
if they're telling you that number, if you're willing to put the money on it, that's all you. You know,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
not me.
Okay,
So I'm more, everybody is giving their projections on what's going to happen. Our country historically has cycles. We do the ups and the downs. And right now, our cycle, we've come out of a very deep 2%. My goodness, he quoted 2.75 a minute ago. So, I mean, I totally get this whole coming out of it. We don't know where it's going to be, but right now we're very, very high. When was the last time we saw 7.5%, 8% on interest rate? Holy smack, that was a long, long time ago. So we don't know. So they're all projecting that that trend is gonna come down. Is it gonna be in Q1 or is it gonna be in Q2? We don't know. And so for lenders to stick their neck out there and say, I can tell you when it's gonna be. No, you can't, cut it out. But it is a good idea to buy the house because you can always refinance if it really does come down.
Isn't that what they say? Marry the house and date the rate?
Date the rate, marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah, do you really want to live here? If this is the house for you, how do we make it happen?
Then get in there. We'll
And
play
then-
with the rate later.
Yeah, you can mess with it. You
You
need
can
to.
afford it, get in there.
And Jenna, to that point, that kind of lender kind of bothers me. I don't know that human. Okay, I don't know anything about that human, but that mindset of a realtor or a lender, when they start predicting, because I lived through short sales as a real estate agent who worked full time. And I lived through the boom as a realtor who worked full time. And something they were saying during the boom was, oh, just trust us. It won't go up any higher. Get this ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, get this, get that. That's what caused a lot of the market we face, because a basic person that made minimum wage was buying a house for over $500,000. Minimum wage back then was less than what it is today, which was like, it's like $12.30 an hour. My kid makes it. And she works her tail off for $200. Can you imagine owning a $500,000 house and price point, not knowing that tomorrow yields this? So I always worry when too much prediction. I always say I can talk about today and I can talk about yesterday, but tomorrow's still coming and we can always get you back in with a financial advisor or a lender at that point. But if you want a house and you need a house now, let me help you. So the other thing I want to show you guys before I release you, because I see you're all like trying to leave.
That's just because I was talking, Mandy. It's all good.
Okay, as long as we know. The other thing is that 1004 MC report is a great talking point and it's a great stat point. Close of escrow date, you can actually go back and put in real dates. So if I want to go compare that market we were just looking at to 2019, I can do that. Because that sometimes takes away the fear, guys. Talking about real numbers, taking out the frenzy market. Do you remember we used to live in the short sale market? We lived in foreclosures. I want you to remember, it wasn't hard to sell a house back then. It wasn't hard to sell a house to a buyer. It was hard to retain the buyer. And it was hard for the seller to obtain the agreement notice from the bank with the terms that they wanted to live with. That's what was hard. It was never hard to move a property to pending. It was hard to keep the AC attached. But the concepts were, we had different hard times. And now looking at today, we take out that whole 3-year period of the market, right? We throw it away and we go, and if you take that out of the severe drop, you'll see that we're like right in line with where we should have been. So we have to rethink that for the last 2 years. If we take out the last 2.5 years that we can never predicted or seen coming, right, that were manipulated. They were seriously manipulated. I mean, our institutional buyers and sellers were just fined for creating false markets, right? And then the government's like, it wasn't me. And I'm like, you're right. Buying down the rates was not you at all. But if I just go back and I look at this, I can also look at what happened in 2019. So it's taking a minute. I'm a very impatient person, so I just keep moving forward. And then I go and I hit CMA. Oh, wait, close. I am falsifying this a little bit, so I have to go back here for a second. I have to select,
So your point right now is to go back and look at the market for historical data?
Yeah.
And you're trying to do that to tell the seller.
that it's not
changed
that far off and that you still did a good job appreciating.
And you're managing expectations.
Yes. Yes. So now I need to change under contract to these timelines and close of escrow, even though everything's going to show closed, but I can't bring in active and pending because that's today's current market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I almost did that to you and you'd have been like, you're crazy.
I was confused, like, okay. 2019 all that year.
I know, right? Like we got some real issues, right, Jenna? We got like a 3-year,
I had,
no, it's not you. Sometimes it's hard for me too to keep it going right. I'm just gonna go to close. View results, and then I go CMA. I then again say use all results again, just closed. And then I can say next. And then I say Fannie Mae. And I say view.
You remove the title, the total.
No, I didn't. And this is why you should remove it. It will confuse you. There you go. Go. No. It's always at the top. And when I had too much caffeine too. I had 2 Americano. Those were good though. Wow, it did not pull what I wanted it to pull for you. So we do have to use, we can't do the 1004 because I can't compare them out, but we can see that it used to be 68 days on the market as average in 2019. So should we be scared when it's over 2 months now? And we can also see that our list price was around 510 and our sold price was around 495. So right now we're in the 7 as our median and solds, right? So we can actually use the total staff. I'm glad I didn't remove it. And we can see that we're really not that far off of where we were 2 years ago before the frenzy, and they still have money in their house. So you can't blow on the candle anymore. You got to be creative and get with a lender. But let me tell you, in 2019, this is where you were. And the fact that you held your house for 2.5 years shouldn't make you sad that you didn't sell in the last market. It should make you happy that you still have value in your property. Does that help you guys at all today? So we had visuals for expectations, letting the seller tell the story, smiling and providing more information without always having to overtake the conversation. Because come on, y'all, that's what we do. Okay, maybe it's what I do because I've overtaken the conversation today. And then showing them it's nothing to be sad about, but giving them the facts that we are sitting still. Also, do you guys know on ARMLS that there's a gentleman named Tom Ruff that does predictions for you all the time?
Good.
Yeah, he's actually our data guy at ARMLS, so he just does it purely on the stats. Cecil had a great point again to the Cromford report. Cromford report's a great tool, but it is a subscription. So I'm always like, how do you use what's at your fingertips? And Jill had a great point of learning RPR. RPR is Realtor Property Resource. It's under your products on MLS, on Flex, but I want you to know it's just another AVM, automated value model. So if you don't know how to work it, it's not gonna do any more for you than Zillow.com. Okay, so
Do you follow Tina on the
I check my numbers with Tina once a month, to be honest, Jenna, because if I just go off her, then I'm not gonna remember how to do it for myself. So I check my mindset with her once a month, but usually I'm pretty much in sync, which I dig. And when I'm not in sync, I have to figure out why.
I used to join with my old email address.
Yeah.
Not anymore, so.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to show you guys stuff. It's just you can't use it for marketing or anything unless you're the
I know,
actual
we just
subscriber.
understand to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But in here, you can always find tons of information, upcoming information coming from Tom. I just wanted to see where I could just, he emails you every single month. And then there's things on stats all through here. So if I go to rapid stats, come on, go. Learning. Yeah, I'm just impatient again.
RUPH.
ARMLS.com. Tom Ruff is RUFF. But in here, you can sit here and you can go through how to read and pull market reports and everything right off your own MLS system. And then Tom always has information about what he offers. And if I just type in his name in the search bar, it should come up. So let me go back there for you. And it's also under here. See more stats. Come on. Do magic. Go somewhere. My computer doesn't like me. And I'll do it this way. Well, all right, I just really want to, all right, thank you. Market reports, tons of great things, and he has little comments throughout them. Q3 2022.
Are those reports valley-wide or through ARMLS?
These are all counties and they're broken down to counties and they're all through ARMLS.
Got it.
So you have a lot of facts and things at your fingertips, and I just think you guys should know about them and use them more often. And then if you ever want a one-on-one, just so I can get your mindset and I can share my mindset and we can come up with a new mindset together. Because it'll better me. I swear, you're all right. I just need betterment happening to me. That would be fun too, because if you're like struggling with a topic and how to talk about the topic, I'd be happy to help. And then reach out to each other too. And sometimes just going off that one person will help you say it differently or better. I go to John all the time and say, okay, these are all the things I read and I'm thinking. And he just goes like he does right in front of you guys. Wait, Mandy.
My
I
brain
think-
takes like 3 seconds to catch up what Mandy said 5
You
minutes
are
ago.
so quick, by the way.
It's so fast.
She's smart.
Oh.
But she's great to let bounce stuff off of because Mandy, she thinks of thousands of things at once. So if you're bouncing something by Mandy can totally help you. Yeah.
But I was trying to give you a compliment and say that what I always like is that you put it in a different perspective for me. Like I don't live and breathe what John lives and breathes. So I get tidbits and I take them to him because this is how I'm thinking of it. And he's like, I haven't seen this, or this is how we deal with it, or this is how our underwriter would look at it. And it makes me better when I'm in front of somebody because I got that different perspective. So please share with each other and please get to know each other a little bit more. December 8th is the holiday party. So if you haven't RSVP'd, go to your newsletter and RSVP. It's at Enchiladas. We're going to have burros and live music and margaritas.
My neighbor next door to my
Yay!
house.
Walk to the house. Walk to Enchiladas. Good. And then on November 15th is going to be our office meeting at 10 a.m. And so please come to the office meeting and hang out with each other. We'll have good time. And other than that, guys, it's the end of the year, so it's marketing time, and you should be calling everybody to just say, hey, I realized 2022 is almost over. Can you believe it? And I haven't even seen you in person. I miss your face. When can we set up a time to meet? Oh, you're so busy. Well, it's been great talking to you, blah, blah, blah. Limit it to 3 to 5 minutes on your little timer and call 3 people a day and just say hello, because that gets you back in front of them.
To add on that, just whatever your old transaction, say happy anniversary with
Yeah.
a couple of your business card.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Are you renting or owning these days? I can't believe I don't even know this. Should I be mailing you here? Or do you have a post office box? Can you help me? Because I want to send you a card to say how much I love you. Okay, gentlemen, if you think that's corny, I'm just on you at work. We'll all be confused and we'll give you all of her information. All right, guys, thanks for the morning together. You're awesome. I'll see you back next week. And if you need me in the meantime, email and text, don't forget to put your name in it. Because it's really hard to have to look everything over.
Oh, no way, really? Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you.
Yeah, for the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have,
She's both.
Leaving me.
Great.
yes.
Let's look it up.
I'm gonna Chat a little bit about it.
Let me shut all this down and I will look it up. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
I want to take this couple of minutes from me.
What's that? Yeah, I gotta go help Dave and then I'll help you. Will you be here for a minute? Okay. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Oh. Did you get your payday, Barb? Oh, you want one? No, but I might have. Right. Okay. Which is your dad? Is your dad allowed sugar? I guess I should be. Oh, let's pick it up for your dad, so he thinks you got something for him. And that way he'll feel welcome if you ever bring